could have the resolution for that, please.
Resolve the agenda for the meeting be adopted as circulated with the noted additions.
Can I have a move, please? Councillor Boulanger, Councillor Bazarowicz seconds. Any further discussions, additions to the agenda or anything like that? Hearing and seeing none, I will call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, the next item is the public hearing, but we'll skip over that. We have a few minutes, so I'm going to go on to number 4, I guess, on the agenda, which is the confirmation of the minutes.
Resolve the minutes of January 26, 2021 meeting of council be adopted as presented.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Sutherland, Councillor Spicer seconds. Any discussions, deletions, corrections to the minutes from January the 26th? I'm not seeing anybody raise their hand, so I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, we only have a couple of items here for communications for action, so I think we'll do those before we start our public hearing. We still have a few minutes. So the first one I have here is the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, and Deepak, if you would like to bring that forward for us.
Yes, Madam Mayor. A letter was received from the Association of Manitoba Municipalities, and I'll just share the screen with everybody on council. What they're requesting is a meeting with our council on March the 3rd, 2021 at 2:30 p.m. This will be a virtual meeting in light of COVID, and what they're requesting is it's part of their Eastern District tour of meeting with the various councils to address the items and issues. They've also asked for us to present in advance of any items we'd like to discuss with them, which council can discuss with myself, and I can send an email to the executive director for our AMM.
Any questions or comments on that one? Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
I think we could ask for an update on the ISIP grant process. That was the only thing that I came up with just off the top of my head. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And we still do have some time, so go ahead, Councillor Strang.
Just had a question, was it only on council or was it going to be a group of council?
It sounds like this is just for our council, because I know I've been reading some of the bulletins and they have actually done virtual meetings with specific municipalities, not like a group meeting. Right, yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything? As I was going to say, we do still have some time, so maybe put your thinking caps on, and if you come up with anything that you'd like to discuss with AMM that, you know, they could support us on, that we're doing in our municipality, then that would be great. Go ahead, Councillor Boulanger.
Just at the AMM convention, if they could update us on some of the proposals that went forward by various municipalities near us or whatever. I'm not sure how many went forward and how successful they've been with dialogue with the government on any of them yet.
You're talking about the resolutions that were passed at the conference?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they've had success with any of them that were brought forward, or was there any positiveness out of some of the resolutions they brought forward to government, or?
Yeah, that's probably something that Deepak could ask them, you know, ahead of time, like for the meeting, if you could provide us an update on some of the resolutions that were passed at the conference, that's probably a good one to chat with them about. Okay, if there's nothing else on that one, go ahead, Councillor Horbis.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time hearing you there.
Okay, well, I do have my microphone on. The only thing that I can...
That's better. That's better. You can move it closer to the, that seems better.
Okay, I did have it on my jacket. Is this better for you?
That's way better.
Okay, I will just hang...
That's way better.
I will just hang on to it then. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought there was one dance different.
Okay, we have one more item under communication for action, and that is 6.2, the travel
Madam Mayor,
Go ahead.
the request was also to identify which councillors would be showing up or would be attending this meeting. So there's a resolution to identify that for all our regular meetings.
Okay, so Deepak has just mentioned that there is a resolution for the AMM meeting of those that would be attending via Zoom. So is there anybody that's not going to attend? Because I'm pretty sure that we're all kind of interested in meeting with them. We haven't done that for a long time, so.
So resolved, Mayor Feeble-Corn and council be authorized to attend the Association of Manitoba Municipalities municipal visit via Zoom on March 3rd, 2021.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, Councillor Spicer seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay, now we're going to go to Travel Manitoba 6.2. That was an invitation for a tourism marketing conference. And Deepak, do you have any other information on that, please?
It's a virtual event occurring on March 2nd, 2021, 8:30 a.m. till noon. And it's a standard invite that was sent out to everybody associated with Tourism Manitoba. And we have a resolution for that.
Okay, which councillors would be interested in attending this one? I think that's Glenn and Sandra. And I'm sure that we'll have probably Gary Marshall attending that one also. And I will put that in my calendar too.
Okay, so resolved, Mayor Feeble-Corn and councillors Strang and Basarowicz be authorized to attend a virtual Travel Manitoba Tourism Marketing Conference on March 2nd, 2021.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Boulanger, second. Councillor Horbis, any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Now I'm just going to remind you that if you do decide, it is a little ways away yet, so if you do decide that you would like to attend, then just let the office know and we can always have you added into our group. So, okay, it is 9:53 and I'm just going to check. We do have a public hearing at 10 o'clock and I believe that the parties are all here. Just one party is here so far, so we're going to have to wait for a few more minutes. Okay, then I'm going to go to new and other business, 7.1 on our agenda, and that one, the first one we have there is the request to have a restricted animal in our municipality. And I believe the parties that wanted this restricted animal have done their due diligence, and I see that our bylaw officer has put a resolution together that has a number of items in there that should keep everybody safe in Pine Ridge Village. It is my understanding that the people that want the snake also have permission from the Pine Ridge Village Trailer Court, and I believe that our bylaw officer has a copy of that. So I'm going to turn it over to either Deepak or Tyler. Tyler is here, so I'm not sure who wants to speak on it a little further.
I can quickly speak to the items that are on the resolution, Madam Mayor. As you've stated, the request was made to house this snake, which is identified as a restricted animal in our animal bylaw. They've received all the appropriate approvals from the property owners as well. This is the type of snake that is allowed in the City of Winnipeg's animal bylaw, as well as it's one of the more common species that are considered as pets. And taking that into consideration, there's been some restrictions that council requested us to take a look at that we could recommend. Those restrictions are that they must not let members of the public or persons outside of the household to be in physical contact with a scent snake outside of the home, with the exemption of the veterinary or training services. And then 2, they must establish and submit a plan of action to be undertaken if the scent snake escapes, which will include contacting the RM office immediately. The scent snake shall not be bred, would be 3. As 4, all incidents involving the snake will be reported to the RM, including but not limited to bites. And then additionally, ensure the proper feeding and care be given to the snake and be housed in an appropriate tank size. And last, must submit a brief semi-annually report to the RM regarding the snake and its well-being. Those would be the restrictions placed on so that there's something that can be used to be able to make sure that it's being managed appropriately.
Okay, that is part of the resolution. Do members of council have any questions for Deepak or our bylaw officer this morning? Okay, I am not seeing any hands go up. I'm just going to ask our bylaw officer if he has anything he'd like to add at this point before I ask for a mover and a seconder, because we pretty much read the resolution. Tyler says no, he's fine. Deepak's covered it. So with that, I will ask for a mover for this resolution. Councillor Belanger, second.
I want to make a comment.
Oh, sorry, Rob, go ahead.
No, I'll move it. I just wanted to make a comment first. I think the municipality has done its due diligence here. We've taken a lot of time to go over this. I think we've looked at every different angle. Although we have bylaws and such to guide us and give us direction, I think we looked at this and really came and thought about how we could make something work here. And I think between bylaw and council and administration, I think we've come up with some really good mechanisms in place to assure that the owner is going to adhere to these different ideas and guidelines. So I think in this particular case, when this much work has been done, it can really give council a better view and help us with our deliberation on something like this. So I think a good job has been done.
Thank you for that, Councillor Belanger. Anybody else have a comment? Okay, I'm looking for a seconder for the motion. Councillor Belanger said he would move it. I need a seconder, Councillor Bazarowicz. And I guess the only comment that I would have is when this first came to us, you know, my main concern was, is it going to be allowable in the trailer park? And they've come back with that information, so I believe that they've done their due diligence also. So with that, I have a mover, I have a seconder. I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay. I believe our delegation has just arrived, so we're just going to take a minute here to have everybody seated properly in the chamber here. Good morning.
And the
Okay, we have our delegation in the council chamber now, and I would just like to remind our delegation that this meeting is being recorded. So when you come to present, it will be recorded. And I would just ask that everybody be respectful of each other. I know this is a little bit of a tough situation, but we have to do our due diligence, and I would like everyone to be respectful of each other. So with that, I will ask for a resolution to adjourn our regular meeting and enter into the public hearing.
Resolve the regular meeting be adjourned and the public hearing be open for animal control.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Horbis, Councillor Spicer seconds. Any discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Go ahead, Deepak.
Madam Mayor, this hearing is dealing with an incident that occurred where one animal attacked another animal, and it was which causing death. We have apprehended the animal, and our bylaw officer is here to walk us through his findings, and there is representation both for representing the animal as well as the victim and who is the owner of the other animal. I'll let Tyler get started on giving us a walkthrough of his investigation. Thank you.
Go ahead, Tyler. Or are you waiting for it?
Yeah, direct me about the incident report.
Just to increase it in size and share it with the council.
Sure.
And what we'll do is
Okay, I'm just going to start by reading the incident report. So on January 12th at approximately 1700 hours, 5 p.m., Angelo from Prairie Bylaw Enforcement received a page informing him that there was a dog attack in Grand Marais. Angelo responded to one of the witnesses, Brown Prince, who indicated that her neighbor's dog attacked another person and she was worried that there would be...
I'm sorry, I can't hear anything.
Okay, just one moment. We'll get Tyler a mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can hear you fine, and Tyler now has a mic, so hopefully you can hear him, Councillor Horbis.
Can you hear me now?
Thank you.
Can you hear Tyler now?
On January 12th, can you hear me, Councilor Horwitz?
No, he's saying no. Is it turned on?
hello. This one will work better.
Okay, we're going to try this again. We've got a different mic.
Okay, on January 12th,
Yeah, I can hear you now, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Tyler, you want to try again, please?
okay, on January 12th, 2021, at approximately 1700 hours, Angelo from Prairie Bylaw received a page informing him that there was a dog attack in Grand Marais. Angelo responded to Brown Prince, who indicated that her neighbor's dog attacked another person, and she is worried that the dog will attack again. Bronwyn also stated that she's seen lots of blood. When speaking with Bronwyn, she provided
Hi, is
Angelo.
this Go Trucking?
Yeah.
Counselor Horbus, you're gonna have to turn off mute your mic or something, because we heard the phone ring and we heard you answer it.
I've muted him now.
Okay, Deepak has muted you, Counselor Horbus, so we should be good now. Sorry, Tyler, go ahead.
When speaking with Bronwyn, she provided Angelo with the accused's cell phone number. The same evening, Angelo also spoke with Constable Wong from the Selkirk RCMP confirming the event. Angelo also spoke with Margaret Ford, who is the victim, and took her statement. Angelo also attempted to call the cell phone number that he was provided for the accused and was not able to reach the individual. On January 13th, 2021, at approximately 0900 hours, the writer, who is myself, received the information and details from Angelo. At approximately 1000 hours, the writer contacted Margaret Ford, who is the victim, and at which time she confirmed that she was walking down Grand Beach Road on January 12th, the previous day, in the afternoon, at which time a large pit bull, boxer, mastiff type dog, brown in color, came charging at her and her dog. Margaret believes the dog came from the houses near 22 to 14 Grand Beach Road. The dog attacked Margaret and her dog. Margaret stated that she was knocked to the ground by the dog. Margaret stated that during the attack, the dog was relentless, and at one point when the dog released Molly, her dog, she grabbed her and placed her under her body. As she lay on the road, the dog continued to circle and attack. Margaret also states that she was able to fight off the dog by kicking her legs and swinging her arms and yelling in a stern voice. At the time of the attack, Margaret noticed a young woman approach and retrieve the dog. At that time, a car came by and two persons got out and helped Margaret into the car and met up with Margaret's husband, who was driving his car to the incident. Margaret and her husband then immediately drove to the Selkirk Vet, which is located at 6 Worsh Street in Selkirk, Manitoba. Miss Molly, her dog, went directly into surgery, at which time the vet informed Margaret and her husband that the dog sustained damage to the internal organs, a broken jaw, internal bleeding, and a punctured lung, and other injuries that were too severe to save her. The dog was then euthanized. That same day, January 13th, 2021, at approximately 10:45 hours, I contacted Bronwyn Prince, who is a witness. Bronwyn then stated that on January 12th, 2021, at approximately 1500 to 1600 hours, she was in her cabin, which is cabin 2, 14 Grand Beach Road, where she resides. She received a text message from her sister, who resides next door at cabin 3, asking her if she heard any screaming. Bronwyn immediately stepped onto her rear deck and sees the girlfriend come out of cabin 1 and onto her deck as well. Bronwyn states that she made eye contact with the female and asked if she heard the screaming, and at that time Mitchell, who also lives at cabin 1, also comes outside. Bronwyn heard the scream and immediately ran back into her cabin to get on her shoes and shirt, and then ran outside to the front street, at which time she notices Corona, the dog, coming back towards the cabins. And she tried to catch Corona, but she seen that the dog had blood on it, and she was scared and did not attempt to catch the dog. Bronwyn states that she then turned her attention to the person lying on the street. Bronwyn began headed towards the person laying on the street, and at that time, Corona, who Bronwyn describes as a light brown boxer or pit bull with a metal chain collar, began heading towards the person on the street again. But this time, Bronwyn was able to grab the dog's collar and immediately walk the dog back to Mitchell at cabin 1, who Bronwyn describes as the dog's owner. Mitch took the dog from Bronwyn and went into cabin 1. Bronwyn noticed a car stop and helped the person while she was taking control of the dog. Bronwyn then phoned the RCMP and Animal Control to report the event. That same day, January 13th, 2021, at approximately 1300 hours, the writer attended cabin 1, 14 Grand Beach Road, along with the RCMP. No persons would come to the door when we knocked, but there was a light brown dog that was barking through the window. The dog fit the description received from Bronwyn. Once the writer determined that no persons were on site, I then headed to cabin 2 and gave a witness copy to Bronwyn Prince to be filled out. The writer then attended 167 Grand Beach Road, Granbury Boulevard, and spoke with the victim and her husband and left a statement to be held, to be filed out. On January 14th, 2021, the writer attended the cabin 1 in Grand Marais along with the RCMP and the PBLE Animal Control and spoke with Brina Worms. The writer asked Brina if she had any knowledge of a dog attack on January 12, 2021 in the afternoon, at which time Brina denied knowing anything. During the conversation with Brina, the writer informed her that they will be taking the dog that they suspect is a dangerous animal. Brina confirmed to the writer that Corona was her dog. Brina surrendered Corona, and it was noted that the dog was light brown with a metal collar, confirming the description. Corona was then transported to Santana Kennels, located west of Winnipeg. The writer informed Brina that they would be in contact. The writer then attended and spoke with Margaret and Gerald, and at that time was presented with the filed out witness statement. The writer then asked Margaret if she was able to look at a photograph, at what time she said no problem at all. The writer presented a picture of Corona that was taken 30 minutes prior, at which time Margaret broke down in tears and stated that that was the dog that attacked her and her dog. And that is it for the statement.
Okay. If you want to go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Next step, please.
The next item is a statement from the witness themselves that was provided for counsel. And if you so wish, we could read the statement, or I think this has been presented ahead of time for counsel and anyone to see what would counsel prefer.
Personally, I don't know what other members of council feel, but I think that perhaps if we did have the report read aloud, then we should do the rest of it the same way.
Sure, Madam Mayor.
Okay, this is the witness statement written Wednesday, January 13th, 2021. On Tuesday, January 12th, 2021 at approximately 3 p.m., I, Margaret Ford, was walking my dog down Grand Beach Road in front of Lot 19. My dog and myself were attacked by a large brown-colored mastiff / pit bull type dog. The attack was witnessed by a young woman who reported the attack to the police and animal control. Eventually, an SUV arrived, and my dog and I were driven to where my husband met us. My husband, Gerald Chartier, our dog Molly, and myself proceeded to the animal vet clinic. Surgery began on Molly when they realized that the internal injuries were more advanced than originally thought. Molly was put down at approximately 5 p.m. on Tuesday, January 12, 2021. During the attack, the dog was relentless. At one point, when the dog released Molly, I grabbed her and placed her under my body. As I lay on the road, the dog continued to circle and attack. I was able to stay off the dog by kicking my legs and swinging my arms and yelling in a stern voice. At the time that the SUV drove up and stopped, a young 20-ish girl with long hair came and retrieved the dog. I was bit on the left hand, resulting in a swollen finger. Luckily, my injuries are more internal, as this is a very traumatic experience. When the dog came out of the yard, he was extremely aggressive. There was no sniffing or growling. He came out at a full speed and attacked. My dog's internal organs were pulled out of her body She ended up with a broken jaw, internal injuries, a punctured lung, and other injuries which were too severe to serve her. Having been attacked by this dog with the aggression that it displayed and his relentless pursuance of both my dog and myself, it is critical that this dog is no longer a part of this community or any other community. This dog is a danger to other animals, people, and children. It is my belief, having experienced this attack, that this dog would not hesitate to attack children at its whim. Please do not let that happen.
Thank you for that, Tyler. I guess if we're going to proceed, we have another witness statement. And just so council knows, and I should have said this at the beginning, I'm the only elected official here today. If you look on the screen, all the councilors are at home attending via Zoom. And I will just let all of council know that we have the person who was attacked and her husband are here, and the dog owner, I believe, is here with 2 other people. So when we get to that part of it, I'll have them introduce themselves so we all have the same information. Okay, so the next one we have is the witness statement from the Prince,
Yeah, do it.
Bronwyn?
Yeah.
Okay, if you could go ahead with that one, please, Tyler.
It says, I, Bronwyn Prince, can confirm that I was a witness to Mitch Johansson's dog, Corona, attacking Maggie Ford's dog, leading to the death of said dog. Signed by Bronwyn Prince.
Okay, thank you for that. Go ahead, Deepak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And the other item to share is as we apprehended the dog, the animal was put at Santana Kennels, and they provided us a report on their findings, their observations of the animal itself. And I'm just sharing that screen with all the council at this point. Here we go.
Okay, this is from Santana Kennels, addressed to myself on February 2nd, 2021. It says, hi there, here are notes that we have on Corona. And it's in bullets, very affectionate with people and strangers who walk by her, even in a mask. Does not show any signs of aggression towards humans from inside of her kennel. Listens to commands of sit, quiet, shake paw, lay down, down, and wait. Does her bathroom breaks in her outside where she is supposed to. Does not show signs of food aggression or fence aggression towards humans. Licks hands and wags tail whenever any staff has approached the kennel, male or female. Not destructive to property in her kennel. Does not chew the bed, blankets, or appear possessive with toys. She shows agitation when other dogs are walking by her kennel. She barks, displays fence aggression, and appears to become unable to listen to commands. Becomes extremely energetic and vocal when dogs are placed in a kennel near her. Lots of pacing and jumping and barking when dog is in close proximity. Unable to specify if this is due to aggression or excitement. This is commonly seen with dogs in kennels. She cries and howls for the attention of humans. And that is from the kennel shift supervisor.
Thank you for that. Go ahead, Deepak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I think that is the majority of the presentation from, and I'll just share back our agenda with all of council, and we'll begin. We do have the veterinarian invoice as well that were part of this process. And what we can say is that in this investigation, Tyler has completed the investigation. It's been determined the dog is exceptionally dangerous. It does show aggression to other dogs, not necessarily to humans. And with that, we are recommending the process. Now, in order to follow the process, we're recommending now comes the opportunity for the owners of the animal to be able to present their case to council. And then we'll have the witnesses present their opportunity to be able to say their opportunity to say something. The owners will then get an opportunity for rebuttal, and then we will then answer any questions for council for a final decision, council.
Thank you for that, Deepak. Okay, so the dog owner, can I ask who that is? And did you want to state your name for the record and come forward if you have anything to add to what already has been said?
Yeah, where do I go?
Can you
Just
come to this, the thing here, and then, hello, you can speak into this.
So my name is Brina Worms.
Do you want to spell that for us? Brina, did you say?
Breena
Okay,
Warms. Brina Worms.
okay.
Just a question, Madam Mayor, can all council members hear Brianna?
Brina.
Brina, sorry.
Can all of council hear Brina? Yeah, everybody is saying that they can, so go ahead, Brina.
Okay. Where do I start?
Well, you are the dog owner, so we want to hear what you have to say about the incident that happened.
Look at what they said on in how she acts in the kennel. Like she's she's not an
Oh yeah. Okay, so
Excuse me, Madam Mayor.
the whole aggression versus excitement
Excuse
just
me,
went
just-
wrong.
Madam Mayor, in order to accommodate, they've come in as a family unit.
Yes?
If you'd like, all three of you can come and present at the same time,
Sure,
and
yeah.
then this way you can talk it over.
Sorry, I'm just anxious.
I understand, we're trying to accommodate, if both of you are only coming, then if you could make sure you can be seen on the screen,
I'm ready.
And I'll have to ask the gentleman that just moved to the front here to identify yourself for the records, please.
I'm her boyfriend, Mitchell Johansson.
Mitchell Johansson, okay.
And the dog.
So, the dog being aggressive versus excitement, it's excitement. She's only 2, she's not used to dogs. She's not ever kept in the kennel by us. We walk her all the time, we are very good owners. As you said, as the vet said, she loves, she's a very good dog. I don't understand how she's being deemed exceptionally dangerous when there's no proof of that.
There's never been an incident before.
There's never been an incident
She's
before.
never bit anything before.
Okay, you're gonna have to, because this is being recorded, I'm gonna have to ask each of you to speak one at a time. You can't both be talking because council can't hear you and it's not gonna be recorded properly. So if you wanna go first, Brina, and then your boyfriend can give his side of the story, then we'll go that way.
Okay, so yeah, like they were saying, when she was in the kennel, everything was good. It's not like if she was kept in the kennel, she would have been destroying that kennel. We're good owners. She's always chained up. There's there's no way she got off that chain on her own. I think what happened is our neighbor, Bronwyn, has taken a huge liking to our dog, to Corona. We see her all the time playing with her. We just notice her staring at Corona for 5 minutes at a time. She's a little bit different. I don't know. I think she let her off, because she's always playing with her. I think she let her off of the chain to take her for a walk, to play with her. And what happened was Bronwyn was the reason that Corona escaped. If Corona is the dog that attacked their dog. Because an hour later or something, Bronwyn knocked on our door and brought Corona back saying, here's your dog, but she never mentioned anything
And there's no blood.
no, she never mentioned anything anyone got hurt, nothing happened. She was like, I just found your dog, thought I'd bring it to you, here you go. I was like, thank you. Never heard anything, none of that made sense to me until the next day we're getting cops at our door saying, all this happened.
And if I may add, there, we live in like a area with like multiple cabins. There's like 6 cabins, and there's like 5 dogs all in that cabin, and they all look like my dog, and they all come up to my dog unleashed, every single day, and play with my dog, and mine's the only one with like a full-size chain that I keep it on.
And it's impossible for her to get off the chain, and the chain's not broken. It never broke.
And she's not an aggressive dog.
That's why my like suspicions are my neighbor is kind of like different, odd, sketchy. I don't know what to use, what word to use there.
Okay, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I wouldn't really say she's like my dog. She was more of a rescue from just an older friend that couldn't take care of the dog anymore. So I ended up taking her so she wouldn't get shot. It was either the dog was gonna get shot or I rescued the dog. So in my opinion, I'm not a legal owner. Well, I'm an owner, but I was only looking after her for a few months so she wouldn't be put down. I was trying to do a good thing for a good dog because that dog is good and has never hurt anyone.
Okay.
And I don't believe that Corona hurt that dog. There are so many dogs that look like Corona to a T. To a T.
Like you'd think someone would have knocked on the door and like mentioned what happened. I had no idea what happened. Like how did that happen? And my dog just comes back, and like I didn't even know.
Okay, go ahead, Tyler, please.
I just want to clarify something with what Brina just stated. I have asked Brina multiple times if she was the legal owner of the dog when I was explaining the situation, at which time she took full responsibility for the dog and the ownership.
Yes.
There was also a note said when I was seizing the animal that Brina stated clearly to me, which I have recorded, that she doesn't like dogs and she doesn't know why she has the dog. That was stated to me.
Can I explain
Yeah,
that?
of course.
Okay,
yeah,
just
of course.
let our bylaw officer finish, and I'm gonna ask you again to only speak one at a time. It's very hard for everyone to hear you when you're both speaking and you're trying to speak over our bylaw officer. Go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, that was just my main 2 points I really wanted to clarify, just so we all have the same knowledge and information.
Yeah. So I was saying that she was my dog. I was a legal owner because she was living with me. That's, where I was staying. So technically, I was taking care of her. She was, at the time, my dog. And I did take it from a friend as a rescue. But like I told you, I don't like dogs. Like I don't know why I had it. I've been trying to get in contact with the other owner, and I told you that too. That I didn't want the dog. So I don't understand that.
Okay, Mr. Johansson, do you have anything that you would like to add?
No, just that from what I've seen since she's got the dog from her friend, it's never been aggressive. We have a full-size chain, and it's never got off before. So unless the neighbor let it off or something, and there was no blood, like I would have been a little bit suspicious if I saw blood when my dog came home.
And you weren't at home at the time?
I was at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've heard pretty much the whole story, that we have some information. Tyler, did you have anything that you wanted to add? Because I'm sure that some members of council may have a couple of questions. So what I would like to do is open it up. And do you have something more that you want to add at this point?
I did, but I don't know if it really matters anymore. It was just kind of like a suspicion on my neighbor that like she let her off, or
Were you at home at this time when this incident was supposed to have happened?
Yes. And when she came and brought me the dog, like she's saying, you said that. She said she talked to me. And that never happened.
we never talked to her.
We never answered the door to anyone. I never talked to Bronwyn about it.
Just to
So
clarify
I think
that.
she's like throwing us under the bus because her cat, she has cats and they're always
Well,
scratching on her door. No,
Never
they're
did.
always scratching on our door and we complain. Her cats get into our garbage, they're annoying. We ask them to please control your cats. So I think it's some type of revenge.
Okay,
Possibly.
what you have with your neighbor has nothing to do with why we're here today.
But
Okay?
if my neighbor let my dog off of the leash, off of her chain,
Okay, I'm going to stop this right here and I'm going to open it up because I'm sure some of the council members that are at home attending this meeting may have some questions or comments.
like, I just don't think, like, Corona didn't do it. There are 5 dogs that look like ours there to a T. To a T.
That is,
And our dog is not aggressive.
that is what you are saying. That is not what we have found out from our bylaw officer.
But yes, they did. They said the vet said that it's not
Excuse
aggressive.
me, I would like to move forward. You have said that the dog is not aggressive. The information that
And the
we...
vet said the dog's not aggressive either.
Go ahead, please, Deepa.
Madam Mayor, if I could explain the process to the owners of the dog. The process is very, let me move that away from the computer, thank you. The process is very clear. The decision has been made, the dog has been identified, you've come to make your presentation. This is not,
Why would they say
can you let me finish?
Yes.
This is not a debate. This is not a situation where you're arguing a point against what council is here to listen to your opinions and answer questions that council will have of you.
Why would they?
And if you want to make it part of your presentation, you can, and that's the intent here. But
Okay.
arguing with the mayor or saying that
No, I'm not.
you have a
doing
different
that.
interpretation,
I'm
that's
just
not.
curious. Why would they say the dog was like acting so good in the kennel, and then also say it's extremely aggressive?
To answer your question, this is, again, it's being lenient to answer questions for you. But the intent here is for you to make your presentation. And the situation is that the kennel identified that it was not aggressive to humans, but it was aggressive to other animals.
I just have one more thing and then, so when I talked to him, when he came here, half of the things that he asked me questions about and I told him, he didn't mention here. When he mentioned all Bronwyn's statements, he mentioned their statements, you mentioned their statements, but half of the stuff that I told you that day, you never said it today.
Go ahead,
Which-
Tyler.
Sure. I can recall that you said you didn't know anything about the dog attack when I asked you if it happened the previous day. You knew nothing about it, but you mentioned that you received some screenshots about a dog attack later that day.
Yeah, and people
2 days later.
Yeah, that was the one
Days
thing that you
later.
didn't state to me. But when I asked you about the dog attack, if you knew anything about it, or if somebody came onto the back decks and if there was any information, you said no.
Yeah,
So I guess question for you, having said that, when the witness's statement, when I read it to you, it said that she heard a noise from inside of her cabin. She came out onto her back deck voluntarily.
me?
No, the witness, so Bronwyn.
Okay.
Okay, so she states that around 3 o'clock, the day the dog attack happened, she heard a sound, talked to her sister, came out onto her deck, at which time you came out onto your deck because she identified you as the girlfriend, okay?
That's not true though.
So, okay, so is that true or not true?
It's not true.
Okay, fair enough, that was my question.
Yeah, it's not true.
Okay.
I never came onto my deck. We
Okay,
didn't
I
answer
had
the
no idea
door.
there was any dog fight until you guys.
Okay, just,
And then also, my last point
this is gonna be the last point,
Yes.
and then I'm gonna open it up for questions.
It wasn't Corona. There are 5 dogs that look like my dog to a T,
Okay.
There's no actual complete proof that it was Corona. Not like no video footage, no 100% proof. It was not Corona. That's all I'm gonna say. It was not my dog. So I'm appealing that. Like, it wasn't Corona. Corona, I'm sorry for your dog, but Corona was not the one that did it.
Okay, I think you've stated your case as best as you're going to at this point in time, and can you please move that mic away from the computer? Thank you. I am going to open it up for members of council who are at home. Questions, comments? Go ahead, Councillor Belanger.
Yeah, my question is to the bylaw officer, Tyler, the lady who retrieved the dog during the incident, physically retrieved it. What was her name? Brianna? I can't understand the name.
Bronwyn.
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 Okay. When she retrieved the dog, she indicated that there was visible blood on the dog after she retrieved it and brought it back to the owners. My problem, what I'm not understanding is, if that's her statement, that there was visible blood on the dog, and the dog had the remnants of that chain collar on it, yet when the dog was brought back to the owners are saying, well, we never seen any blood, and it had no visible signs of doing anything. Is that what's in play here?
Yes, that's correct. Bronwyn stated that when she retrieved this dog, who she described as a light tan colored pit bull type boxer dog with a metal collar, it had the blood on it. She took that dog back to the owner, who she assumed was Mitchell Johansson. She took that dog back to him, gave him the dog, and then they parted their ways. It's also noted in the actual victim statement that it's the same description when I asked her, please describe the dog.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else from council? Questions, comments? Councillor Sutherland, did you have something you wanted to add?
Yes, so are the owners saying that, what Tyler just said, that the woman took the dog back to the owners? Are they saying that this woman did not bring that dog to them?
The owner brought the dog back to our door.
Okay, you don't have the mic beside you, so I'm gonna have to ask you to answer that again, please.
Okay, the owner brought the dog back to the door and never mentioned anything about a dog fight. Bronwyn, sorry.
But she did bring the dog
Yes.
to you back?
Yes.
And so the dog.
And there was no blood on it.
Okay, well, that's fine. That's answered my question. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for that. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Mayor, just for clarification, because the owners have identified multiple dogs in around this particular property. We're aware of one.
Off leash, too.
We're aware of one on this property where there are 6 cabins.
Yeah.
Are you saying there are more than?
Yes, there are.
More than 2?
There are at least 2 in our same lodge, and then at least 2 from around our lodges. And one of them, I think that looks exactly like ours, is from our lodge, like the same cabins, like our second neighbor. Because he's always chasing his dog. Like the dog comes to us every day on our set. Was always trying to pick fights with our dog. And Corona never attacked that dog. That dog was after her.
Okay, I have a couple of questions myself. Basically, I guess my question is, are you permanent residents at that cabin?
Yes.
And how long have you lived there?
Since November.
Of last year, of 2020?
Yep.
Okay, now is that cabin, is it a winter cabin, or is it basically
It's a 4-season cabin, yeah.
It's a 4-season cabin.
Yeah, it's like a house. It's like a little house.
Okay, and how many cabins are on that property?
7 8.
Okay, and are there any other permanent residents
All
there?
of them are full.
All of them are full?
Yeah.
And many have dogs.
And many of them have dogs, most of them have dogs.
Okay, Tyler, when you were up there, did you see many other dogs up there? If they're saying that every cabin has a dog, did you see?
Not every cabin.
But you probably did.
Yep, I seen one dog that was a similar description, but it was darker in color. It was on a chain, and in my opinion, I would have to see it again, but it almost had stripes on it. I spoke with that property owner that day when I first attended the cabin, which had been, I believe, on the 13th of January. And when I talked to that owner, he knew about the dog attack, and he stated that his dog was not the dog. It was outside on the
They're
chain.
stating that too.
So,
Of course he'd say that.
yeah, and that was it.
Okay, I'm going to ask you two to step away because the lady who lost her dog in this whole incident is going to come forward and have her say if she so wishes. I didn't ask you, but if you want to come forward, please do. And I'm just going to ask you both to identify yourselves for the record.
Yeah, I can certainly wait that.
Yeah, we're just going to get the chair sanitized, so.
Just a minute, one second.
And while we're getting that done, can I just get you to give us your names for the record, please? Because this is being recorded, so.
My name is Margaret Ford,
Margaret Ford, okay.
and we live at 167 Granbury Boulevard, and we are permanent residents. My family's lived there since 1952.
I'm sure you know some of my family out there.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor?
Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Yeah, they'll probably have to repeat their name and sit down because we didn't really hear.
Okay, I can do that, yes, we're getting the chair and everything sanitized here, so. I think we are good to go now, so I'm going to ask the dog owner to identify herself again because apparently council didn't hear you.
So we're co-owners of the dog, and my name is Margaret Ford, and I live in Grand Marais Boulevard, and I was mentioning that we are permanent residents. My family has owned the land since 1952. This is my husband, Gerald Chartier, and he is the co-owner of the now deceased dog.
Thank you for that. Now, if you want to just go ahead and give us your side of what happened that day, then we will have some discussion, and I again will open it up for council.
Well, needless to say, this has been a really terrible month. It's been traumatic for me. The dog was brutally attacked. The dog that attacked my dog, now I know the name is Corona, came flying out of a bush. She had on a metal leash around, not leash, but collar around her neck, was leather, I believe, and was a chain. The dog, it's been said numerous times that the dog attacked my dog, which she did.
Oh, just one moment. I think one of the councillors might not be hearing you. Councillor Horbus, are you having trouble hearing again? Councillor Horbus, can you not hear us again? Can you not hear anything that's being said, Councillor Horbus?
Madam Mayor, maybe just have Margaret hold the mic closer to her mouth.
Yeah, we can try
Can
that.
I take that down since we're 6 feet apart?
Yes, you can.
Thank you. I know, where was I? The dog came flying out of the bushes, and there was absolutely no opportunity for me to do anything with the dog.
Margaret, I'm going
Yes.
to ask you to put the mic a little closer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Once the dog was on my dog, it was seconds before he ripped her throat apart and pulled her insides out of her body. I was trying to grab the dog, I was fighting with the dog was on top of me, so I know exactly what the dog looks like. There's no confusion that it might be the dog that's tied up, because I've seen that dog multiple times and it's got some kind of stripes on it, and that was not the dog that attacked me. The dog that I saw the picture of, that was presented to me by Tyler, was the dog that attacked. And the dog was relentless. Nothing I could do would get that dog away.
And my dog.
When I laid down on the road with the dog under me, and I was spread eagle in the middle of the road, the dog kept coming at me. And every time the dog came at me, I would start screaming and kicking and moving my arms, and the dog would back up a little bit. As soon as I stopped, the dog would come from another angle at me, and continued this until a car drove up, an SUV drove up. And at that point, a young girl, maybe in her 20s, came running out to get the dog. At the time, I thought that was the owner of the dog. I was then really disheartened to read that it wasn't the owner of the dog, it was a neighbor, and that the owners heard what was going on and chose not to come out. If my dog was screaming so loud and I was screaming so loud, it would have been virtually impossible for someone who was at their house, maybe 100 feet away from me, to not have heard what was going on.
Music blast.
So I don't...
Margaret, just a second. Brina, if you cannot listen to what is being said, I'm giving you one more opportunity, and then I am going to ask you to step out of the council chamber. Nobody interrupted you or yapped in the back when you were speaking. I would like Margaret to be afforded the same. If you say anything more, I'm going to ask you to leave the council chamber. Go ahead, Margaret.
So I was just stating that the fact that the people had to have heard what was going on during that attack, because I was screaming at the top of my lungs, as well as my dog was crying and screaming, there is no way that somebody did not hear what was going on. If Bronwyn and her sister both heard, I'm sure that everybody heard. The fact that the people have never come to our door and apologized or taken responsibility in any way, and has actually tried to say they're not really the owner of the dog in this meeting today, tells me that these people are not responsible enough to have a dog, and especially a dog of this type. I have raised shepherds in the past, so I do understand the psychology of big dogs. The report from the kennel states that a number of things, but the one thing that wasn't said that I think is very important is that the kennel said, we are not behaviorists. We do not claim to understand the psychology of these dogs. So I just want to point that out. And I'll just ask my husband if there's anything that he'd like to comment on.
Thank you for that.
Good.
You're good?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so I will do the same for yourself as I did for the dog owner, and I will ask council if they have anything that they would like to ask or comment on at this point. Go ahead, Councillor Belanger.
If I may may ask that the person sitting there right now, one again, describes the caller in great detail to us right now. I want to hear what that collar and that dog looked like by the one that got attacked here.
Oh, I think what happened is when you started to speak and you were talking about the dog's collar, I don't think all of council heard you, so if you could just repeat that part of it.
It was leather and chain.
So it was a leather collar.
Leather and chain.
Okay, and Madam Chair, I may just follow up. If you could direct a question for me to the said owner and ask if that clearly describes their dog's collar for me, please.
No, it does not. It's a plaid, red plaid, clip collar.
Okay, and I'm gonna ask Tyler to clarify that because Tyler was there along with the Prairie Bylaw in animal control people. So I'm going to ask Tyler, what kind of collar did the dog have when you apprehended it?
The picture I'm looking at right now is of Corona in the back of one of our cars getting transported to the kennel. And from what I see, I can't see the leather part from where Corona's standing, but it's a clear metal chain. There's no plaid, there's no
Just the
clip.
hook, just the metal hook.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at a metal chain on the collar.
It's a red plaid collar.
Didn't she say black leather?
Yeah.
You know what? I don't want anybody arguing in here. We are here to listen to all the information and we have to take all the information into account. Our bylaw officer is saying that the dog does have a collar that seems to be metal. You're saying that the collar is not at all metal.
It has metal pieces on
Can
it.
I say something? I might possibly have changed the collar because it had been days of them coming here. Like I might have changed the collar the night before. We have 10 different collars and you could look at them all.
Well, I'm going to ask Tyler. He was the one that was there either the evening of the attack or the next day. Now, I would have to suggest or think that if your dog was in trouble, you might have changed the collar.
No.
No, and also I thought she said at first that it was a black leather collar. Yeah, and that's why they asked her to repeat herself.
No, they asked her to repeat herself because they couldn't hear her. She very clearly stated that it was a metal collar on the dog.
Leather. She said black leather.
And a chain, but I did not say
Madam Mayor?
Yes, she did.
Okay, I am going to cut it off. This is not to argue. Go ahead, Deepak.
We have a picture of the animal with that collar that I'm just trying to bring up right now.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm having some trouble with that image.
I'm going to email it to you?
Please.
Okay, for the members of council at home, Tyler is just emailing the picture of the dog that he has to Deepak so that we can pick it up and put it onto the screen. Okay, I think all of council should be able to see that now. It's quite clear that it is a chain around the dog's neck and it looks like it might have a piece of leather at the end of it. I can't really tell from the picture.
The collar should still be on the dog and you can look at the collar. It's no leather.
That looks like a chain collar.
That looks like a chain
It's
collar.
it's fabric all the way over. The only place it's metal is right there because it tightens when, it's one of those ones that tighten.
Deepak, can you just move it down just a bit? I want to see the end there because it did look like there was a piece of leather at the end.
Yes, right here. And that's part of the leash here.
Right. Okay, so it's quite clear that this collar is a chain.
That's 5% of the collar though.
Yeah, like that's just the part where it hooks on.
When you're being attacked by a dog like this, it's not always easy to examine the collar to get it exactly perfect. I knew that it was a chain with some leather on it, and that's all I'm
there's no
saying.
leather
And
on
I'm
it.
not arguing the point.
Okay, you're right.
There's no leather on it.
Okay, we're not arguing. There's the picture. That's what we have.
Okay. I'm sorry about your dog, but it wasn't Corona.
Excuse me.
Okay, Brina,
You will
that's-
have your chance to
Yeah.
to do your final words. Again, you'll have an opportunity to present your final words. At this point, please do not talk to the other victims of this incident. If I could kindly request you to stop that.
Margaret, do you have anything else that you would like to let council know about? And I will once again ask council if they have any questions or comments.
The attack was traumatic for me. I don't sleep at night. I go to bed every night with the images of that dog flying out of the bushes and landing on my dog. I can see my dog's face clearly as she is being killed. I have visions of that dog attacking me while I'm lying on the ground with my dog underneath me. I don't believe for 1 second the fact that I'm an adult made a difference. If I was a 10-year-old and 8-year-old child walking my dog by that dog would have attacked. And one thing I just want to make clear as well, there's a brand new PlayStation in the Grand Beach Community Center. And it's very close to where these people and their dogs live. And that scares the heck out of me. Because don't let this be a child that is the next victim. And I truly believe, after my experience with this dog, that it could very easily be a child next. And please don't let that happen, because that would be even more of a tragedy.
Thank you for that, Margaret. Anybody from council have any questions to the dog owner?
Do you mean me?
No, I'm asking council if they have any questions for you.
For me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, and I don't see any hands going up, so I'm going to ask you to step away. Deepak will give another little cleaning there, and if the dog owners wish to say anything more, I'll give you a couple of minutes to have the last word, and then we'll close the public hearing.
May I say something too?
If you want to come forward and identify yourself for the record, please.
May all three of them?
Yes. No, like she's just making it sound like my dog's so aggressive. My dog is around my niece. My dog is around my family. My dog is around small children all the time. Other dogs, my neighbor's dogs that live where I live. Like there's never been a violent attack ever. So, like it just doesn't make sense.
My name is Donna Hart, and I'm mother of Mitchell Johansson. And I wasn't there at the time, so I don't have a lot of comments in regards to it. But I do feel that the report from the kennel saying that the dog was showing no aggression to people or children all contradicts what the owners say. So I'm just bringing that into fact. And the second thing is, the main concern here was when Bromley brought the dog back, it was just like she took it for a walk and said, here's your dog.
Yeah.
No blood, no nothing, and no comment. The kids did not know till the next day that any incident happened. So that's,
But you didn't see the dog that day?
I
Yourself?
don't know. I haven't seen the dog.
No, but if there was blood on it, I would have asked all the neighbors what happened. I wouldn't looked around like.
Okay, I think you've stated your case. I think you've stated your case quite well. And I think that I'm going to leave it at that. Did you have anything more that you wanted to add, Margaret?
The only thing that is a concern to me is that Mitchell has stated the dog is not his, but you just sat here saying,
It's
my
both
dog,
ours.
my
We're
dog,
dating.
my
This is
dog.
my girlfriend.
Okay.
I just want to say that.
Thank you.
I just want to point that out.
Thank you for that.
Let me point out that we're a couple, and that's why. Okay, done. It's okay.
Okay, with that, I believe that we will be closing our public hearing. Council has heard a lot of information here this morning. I believe that council will want to have some discussion on this before we move forward with our resolution. So what I would ask is that we close the public hearing, and we will not hear any more rebuttals from anybody. Council will need some time to go through all the information that we've heard today. I'm not sure that we'll make a decision before the end of the day today or not, but either our CAO, Deepak, or Tyler will get a hold of both parties at the end of the day today and let you know if there was a decision made or not. Go ahead, Tyler.
One more point, if I can, Madam Mayor, before we close on the public meeting. One fact in regards to this, when we're looking at the bylaw, what council's determination with this dog will be, I spoke with the actual owner of the property who manages it to a third party, and that owner clearly stated that any animals are prohibited from being at that property. There are no dogs allowed there.
No, I have the lease that says otherwise.
That is what the property owner told me. We can get a hold of him again.
Yes.
But he will be dealing with that side note for any other animals is what I'm told.
Well, and I guess, and that is why I had asked the question earlier. Those are seasonal residences, and that's why I asked the question if they were living there full-time and how many of those.
We are living there full time. It's a year lease. But like dogs are allowed there.
It's on the contract.
If you would let me finish, what I was going to say was that those are classified as seasonal residences. And I am not sure if it is even allowable that people be living there full-time. What your lease says is what your lease says.
They're all winterized, so, but, okay.
They are seasonal. They could be winterized. People do go camping in the winter, but they're not full-time residents. And you stated that you're full-time residents in that cottage.
Yeah.
Well, we signed
I signed a lease.
6 months.
Okay, I'm going to close it off. According to the property owner, there are to be no animals there. If the person who is the property manager has told you something different than what the owner has told our bylaw officer, then we'll have to get clarification on that.
I'll show you the lease, yeah. He can come by anytime, I'll show him the lease.
He will deal with the property owner and the property manager.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, if there are no other comments or questions from members of council, I am going to ask our CAO to read the resolution to close this public hearing.
Resolved, the public hearing for animal control be closed and the regular session of council be reconvened.
Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Bazarowicz, Councillor Spicer seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Opposed? And that is carried. Okay. Okay, and as I said earlier, we will, Tyler will get a hold of you before day's end to let you know if council's made a decision or not to both parties, so. With this new information, it may not be today, we may want to know if they can actually have animals on that property or not, so thank you for that. And I would like to take a 5-minute break, so Colleen, can you please stop the recording for now?
I might have like email or something.
That's okay, I'll get it directly from the property.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No,
It's okay, I'll be